Welcome to Ohio FFA Career Connection. Throughout this series, we will explore just a few of the vast career opportunities in Ohio agriculture. Whether you want to work on a farm or in an office, laboratory, field, or classroom, FFA prepares us to be successful. Together, we'll get to know various professionals and learn how we can jumpstart our future careers while still in FFA. Let's get started. I'm sitting down with Ellen Zimmerman, and I'm excited to learn all about her career in the grain industry. So thank you for joining me today, Ellen.
It is my pleasure. I'm happy to be here. Happy to get to know you a little bit and share more about my career.
Great. So let's start a little bit about your background. So how did you come working into agriculture?
Yeah, so I feel very fortunate that I have spent pretty much my whole life connected to agriculture. I grew up on a farm in Northwest Ohio. We have livestock, so we had pigs and cows. I guess I'm talking to people familiar with agriculture, so I can say hogs and cattle. And that's kind of where it all started. My parents were both very involved with FFA as well and 4-H. And so when I got to be the age in which I could get involved, it was a no-brainer because I wanted to. And even if I didn't want to, it wasn't going to be optional for me. So I'm thankful for my parents' influence and helping me really plug into those youth organizations that have made just a huge impact on me, the person I am, and the type of work that I do. Through my FFA experience, I, was involved in a lot of different things. Within my chapter, I did several different CDEs, and the one that had probably the most profound impact on me was public speaking. That was a contest I really enjoyed and was thankful that I had some success in that as well. And so from that, I decided I wanted to talk for a career. And so I majored in agriculture communication with the plans to be on air broadcast in the agriculture world, whether that was radio or TV. Wasn't quite sure, but that was the path. I had some internship experiences that helped me figure out that's not what I wanted to do. On air was not the route for me, but talking and being connected to agriculture was still spot on and what I wanted to pursue. So I took kind of all of those experiences put together. I was also a state officer with Ohio FFA that allowed me to make some really great connections in the industry, kind of experience different people, different exposure to different types of careers in agriculture. And so that led me down the path of an internship with RFD TV. And I experienced a lot there, spent some time there, moved on to Ohio Corn and Wheat, which is a commodity organization, big supporter of Ohio FFA. And that's really where I fell in love with agricultural associations, membership, working on behalf of producers, with producers, that sort of thing. And that's really what kind of set me up for the rest of my career. And then I moved to Washington, D.C. in 2018, and I've worked with associations here in the district since then. Currently with the U.S. Grains Council, and I absolutely love this job. I actually got exposure to the Grains Council when I was with Ohio Corn and Wheat. They're one of our members. And so, again, it's all about those connections and different experiences I've had that led me to where I am today. So that's the very long-winded answer of how I'm connected and have stayed in agriculture. Really started all at home on the farm in McCutcheonville, Ohio.
What else was really beneficial in your FFA career? What were some of your favorite memories? Just kind of what your FFA story was altogether. You said state office and other things, but give us some more details about that.
Yeah, sure. So, thinking back on my FFA experience, I think I talked about public speaking being the most impactful CDE. If I were to talk about what was most impactful about my experience overall and take away qualifiers of it having to be a CDE or something like that, I would say it was all about again, the people. And, I was fortunate to have some leadership positions within my chapter. And so kind of getting that first experience of working as a team, managing projects, managing a budget, all of those things really were crucial to my professional development and kind of who I am now as a teammate, a colleague, a supervisor. All of those things really played into that. So some of the other contests I did, Parley Pro was really fun for my chapter, and again, really showed me teamwork and the importance of being able to work with others. I loved being on the officer team. I was an officer for 3 years and was fortunate to be the chapter president as well. And so I had a ton of fun with that. I'm very close to my siblings in age. And so, I got to be on the officer team with my sister as the president. And then when I was president, my brother was vice president. And so it was really fun to have those family connections too. And again, it all came down to the people for me, an FFA. So that was in high school at my local chapter. I was a state officer, which I absolutely had the best time, and some of my best friends are from that time. I had my college roommates. All of that came from my state officer experience. I really loved traveling Ohio and getting to know the other members who, again, are still dear friends to me. And then I also worked at FFA Camp Muskingum, which was, a great opportunity, ton of fun, and again, those great life lessons of learning to work with people, long days, really fun days. And I think that was a great example of how you can be at work and have a ton of fun too. And I really appreciate that and like to have a glimpse of that camp feeling in my current work as well. I would say another really impactful thing that FFA brought me is my husband. We met through Ohio FFA. And so that's a neat piece of our love story too.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree. Camp is one of my favorite places on earth as a member and a state officer. It's definitely the happiest place on dirt as we coin it now. But transitioning from that, how you said it really correlates from the long days at camp and how it's made you enjoy your job now. Tell us more about your current job.
Yeah, so I'm the Director of Industry Relations for the U.S. Grains Council, and we are an agricultural association here in Washington, D.C. is where our headquarters are, but we actually have locations in 28 different countries, and we run programs in more than 60 countries. So we are an international organization. Our members are corn, sorghum, and barley farmers, and then we also have agribusiness within our members, within our membership. So it is all encompassing of exports. We're all about exporting corn, sorghum, barley, and then those co-products, which are DDGs and ethanol, those sort of things, is what we work on, moving those exports. And so our agribusiness membership is anyone who touches that export system or grain along the export process. So we have seed companies, we have the actual traders like ADM and Cargill, we have equipment manufacturers like John Deere and Case IH. We have the people that are actually on the ports, so like in New Orleans and here in Maryland and Savannah and the Pacific Northwest, that the people that ship the grain out of the U.S. We have railroads. Literally anyone who touches grain exports has a seat at our table, and that allows us to be a unified voice when we're talking to customers overseas. We can say we represent grain exports here in the U.S. So that is what kind of who makes up our membership. Like I said, we're all about exports. So we do market development, improving trade across the world. And so what that looks like is really kind of depends what market we're working in and what commodity we're working in. So it can be a trade policy effort. That's kind of a lot of what we're doing in ethanol right now. Demand building, so working with livestock producers in other countries to say, here's how you can feed corn or DDGs or sorghum in the diet of whatever type of producer we're working with. So that's kind of how we do the work. How I fit into the organization is I am industry relations, and that means I'm the connection point for our members to our overseas offices and our programs. So my job is to take the priorities of our domestic membership and share that with our overseas offices, and then have the overseas offices do work on behalf of our membership, and I'm the one that needs to send those program details and results back to our membership. So I spend a lot of time with our members, understanding the markets, the work that we're doing, and on the communication connection point. So like I said, I wanted to talk for a living, and that is definitely what I do. So I talk to our offices, I talk to our producers, I talk to our staff here in DC, and I'm the connection point for all of those pieces to work together. So on a day-to-day basis, I don't really have a standard day, I guess. Every day looks a little bit different. Today, I came straight from the airport. I was in Wisconsin meeting with their corn checkoff board yesterday. And so, that's an example of me spending time with our membership and sharing more about the work that we do. I could be traveling abroad. I was recently in Guatemala and Vienna for different conferences for that. And then I also manage a team. And some additional work that my team does is we put on all of our meetings and conferences for our membership. We do all of the invoicing for dues. So lots of details, lots of big picture, lots of talking is kind of all what I'm about here at the U.S. Grains Council.
Awesome. So with all of that stuff, do you guys have lots of aspects and things coming up with the new farm bill that's coming in for renewal? What does your organization look like in that aspect coming up?
That's a great question. So we are an association, but different from most associations, we cannot lobby here in the U.S. So we are greatly impacted by the Farm Bill because we're what is called a cooperator within the Farm Bill. And so we receive dollars from the Farm Bill as from one of their programs, two actual programs, MAP and FMD, which is the Market Access Program, and Foreign Market Development. Those are the two big programs within the Farm Bill. We are a receiver of those dollars, which is why we can't lobby. Since we are receiving money from the federal government, we cannot then lobby the federal government. So we are, like I said, greatly impacted by the Farm Bill. About half of our annual budget comes from the Farm Bill. And so we are very much invested in what happens with this new Farm Bill, the allocation process, the budget process, all of that will definitely play a role in what how much work we can do on behalf of our members. So we really rely on our partners, our sister organizations, and our members who can lobby to fight our fight in that Farm Bill process to get a favorable outcome for those programs that we're tied into.
What education, I know you said you had some internships with RFD TV and all those. What education brought you to where you are today? Was it a technical school after high school, a college 4-year degree, 2-year? What led you to where you are in education wise?
So I went to Ohio State after high school, and I do have a 4-year degree in agricultural communication. And so that's kind of, I guess, when I talk about wanting to talk for a living, that agricultural communication degree has been really, really helpful. I don't use it in what I would say the technical sense is. So I of course do some writing, but I'm not writing like press releases or that type of technical work. I don't do design in Photoshop. I don't take photos. So I don't use a lot of the technical aspects of my degree, but I definitely use the writing components and then the soft skills that I learned through that degree. So that is kind of my formal education from Ohio State. And then I think a really important education component once you are in the workforce is continuing to learn professional development, additional certificates, that sort of thing. So a fun fact about Ellen is I love to get certified in stuff. I have tons of certifications, and some of them are really fun, like I'm an ordained minister, I'm a scuba diver. Some of those nonsense fun ones that do come in handy, but I also have a lot of professional ones too. Like I facilitate Myers-Briggs, the type indicator. And so I do that in a lot of our leadership training. There's a lot of other Franklin Covey, that sort of thing, certifications that I have that I'm continuing to learn and develop as a professional and help those around me develop as well. And then, some of that hasn't stopped. I'm still working on certifications. One that I'm looking at is a Certified Association Executive. CAE is the acronym you'll sometimes see on professional like business cards or like on LinkedIn. Some people have that listed. And that's essentially like a master's degree in understanding associations, which is the work that I do. So I'm working on there's a lot of hours and reading and classes and webinars that you have to take to get your CAE. And so I'm in the process of working towards that.
I know earlier you talked about like traveling out of the country, in country, you just got back from a flight. So what are some of your favorite travel experiences that you've gotten with your job so far?
Oh, that's a great question. So I do travel quite a bit for my job. It's seasonal. Since I work with producers so closely, I follow their calendar. So their planting and harvesting is essentially my time off of traveling because they're busy in the fields. And then I do travel quite a bit. So like right now, I'm in like a 14 week stint that I'm traveling in and out of DC every week. And so I go both domestically and internationally, and there's a lot of fun things that happen when you're traveling for work. I'll also say that it can be tiring as well. I always enjoy it. I always, appreciate time with the members, but every hotel meeting room looks the same, like they all have interesting carpet color schemes and the chairs all feel the same. And so a lot of times I'm traveling and then I go sit in a conference room, that sort of thing. So back to your original question of favorite experiences, anytime that I can get in a field or the meeting is in a different venue than a hotel or something like that, those are always my favorites. Getting to interact with producers in their element, out on their farm, in a field, that sort of thing is always really meaningful to me.
So would you say that knowing everything, being an expert in your field is one of the misconceptions, or what other misconceptions do they have about your position that you think you have to have it all together and know everything about one certain item? What misconceptions are about your position?
A misconception with working in an association is limited opportunities. And that's something I would love to combat and share more about what it's like to work in a commodity group or an association. We need job types of all kinds. We need accountants. We need communicators. We need trade servicers. We need people who are experts in agronomy and water quality. We need scientists. We need researchers. We need people like me too, that, people is my business. And so the other thing that I would say in that misconception of limited opportunities is there is a commodity group, an association for everything. And so definitely take a look at those options that would be available for careers. There are, state groups, there are national groups that are located all through the U.S. And, if you have interest in living abroad, then, the Grains Council and then our sister organizations have that opportunity too. So there's like a grape association, cotton, soybeans, pork, beef, all of the, protein livestock folks have an association. Every grain does, the seed companies do, equipment manufacturers do, just to name a few ways that in agriculture we have associations. So definitely take a look at that to be a job opportunity for you in the future.
So our main goal with this video series is to help connect the students for their future careers and how to prepare for those, just all the different aspects. So along the lines of all the different commodity groups we have, for anyone and anything, what other advice would you give to someone who's looking for a career that's similar to yours, and what steps to take along with that?
Great question. So I think one of the most important decisions that I made in my career path was taking some time away from Ohio, which is where I was born and raised, where I went to school, where I have, nothing but great memories. I'm a Buckeye through and through. I'm always going to love Ohio. But something I did is move away from my internship with RFD TV. I went to Omaha, Nebraska, and I said, I can do anything for 3 months. I'm just going to try this. And that was really important for me professionally because that was a great internship experience. But personally, I grew up a lot, having to figure out, I locked my keys in my car twice that summer. And like having to figure that out on my own was really important, like growing moment for me. Making friends, like understanding how to like set myself up in a new community. That was really impactful for me. And I think really helped again with my people skills. Figuring out what grocery store I was going to go to. Like there was no Kroger's in Omaha. So like, where do I go? I recommend Hy-Vee. Anyways, just like those little things that I had to figure out on my own really helped me grow up personally and professionally. So I've given this advice before. It's not always the most popular with parents, but I would recommend stepping outside of your comfort zone. If that means an out-of-state opportunity or a different kind of internship or part-time job that you didn't think would be of interest, try it for a couple of months. You can do anything for a couple of months and you'd be surprised what you can learn from that experience and what you can learn about yourself. So I think that's a really good piece of advice. Let's see, some other things that I think would be really helpful is as you are trying these experiences, whether it's a conference, a summer job, your SAE, whatever that may be, think about the things that you like, but also consider the things you don't like. And that'll be really helpful in kind of weeding out opportunities that aren't for you. If you can say, I don't love working in an office, I don't love working at a desk, then that can really help you understand the opportunities that you do want because you've ruled out all of those that have that component that you don't like.
So, what else could students do right now to impact what they could do for their future career, whether it is in one similar to yours or just in general, any future career? What could they do right now to prepare themselves for their future?
That's a great question too. So, I appreciate when I'm hiring or looking at resumes, reviewing resumes, I really appreciate when it is tailored and specific to the opportunity. And so my advice to students that are listening is make what I call a resume for real. You can name it whatever document you would like, but that's what mine is called, resume for real. And that has everything I've ever done, every leadership experience, every conference I've went to, all of the CDEs that I did in FFA all those years ago. I have a running document of all of my potential experiences with sub bullet points about what I learned and what I experienced. So start tracking those things now. Start thinking about how this can be applied to a job that you might be interested in. And how that's really helpful is then when you're ready to apply for an experience, you can pull out those pieces that are relevant to what you're applying to, scholarship, job, leadership opportunity, whatever it may be. You can pull out those pieces and have a really great, tailored, ready to go resume very quickly because you've already done the homework of tracking those experiences and the impact they've had on you as an individual.
In relevance to resumes, do you have a specific website or format that you would recommend for students to use that are just starting to build their resumes?
I've always thought like resume reviewing is a lot like livestock judging. It's one person's opinion on a certain day, just like it is the judge's decision in the ring that day. So I don't have a specific recommendation of, a website or a format. I would make sure it reflects you and is organized and thought through. Those are correct things that are those are the things that I think about more than a specific format. The other thing I would say is make sure you send it in a PDF when you are officially submitting it. There have been many times where I got a resume in a Word document and they had used like one of the Word outlines. And when I opened it, it auto populated my information as opposed to their information, which is how they sent it to me. But because it's in that Word format and Microsoft knows it's me on the computer, it went ahead and filled in all of my contact information. And so that's really unfortunate because then I'm going to lose who I'm looking at, that sort of thing. So always send and submit your resume in a PDF.
Well, Ellen, thank you so much for visiting with me. I'm really excited for all of the Ohio FFA members to learn about your career and how they can pursue a career in the grain industry and international agriculture. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's great chatting with you, Aubrey.
FFA develops our potential and helps us discover our talent through hands-on experiences, which gives us the tools to achieve real-world success. If you're interested in a career path similar to the one highlighted in this video, there are a couple of ways you can get started. One option to dive in and learn more is through a supervised agricultural experience. While completing an SAE, you will cultivate valuable employability skills while gaining work experience as a volunteer, a paid employee, or maybe even as your own boss. To learn more, visit saeforall.org or talk with your ag teacher. In addition, through career development events, you can put your knowledge to the test. Ohio FFA offers more than 40 CDEs. Here are a few CDEs that can help you further explore this career path. Ask your FFA advisor for more information on how to get involved. As FFA members, it's important for us to start making these connections and find future possibilities that align with our interests. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ohio FFA Career Connection, which is made possible by Ohio Corn and Wheat. Thanks for tuning in.